Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. It's that time of year again.
What time of year?
Baseball is back.
Oh, no.
Now, it's been back for a little while with spring training, but it was big league weekend this weekend.
Sure was.
We went to both games.
I don't know.
We went to both games. A's won the first game in nice fashion, 4-2. That was a pretty tight game. The A's scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second, and then the Diamondbacks scored 1 run in the top of the third. So it was 2-1. And then I don't remember where we scored the other 2 runs. I think it was over the course of 2 innings, but we scored 2 more, and we won 4-2.
Today they lost 7-5.
Oh, so it was close.
Yeah. Tried to make a comeback, but not quite.
Yeah, when we left, it was 7-4.
Yeah.
And that was middle of 7.
It's interesting the Dodgers lost to them 7-5 too.
Huh, weird. Yeah. So it was fun. It was nice to be back at the ballpark. Yesterday was freezing cold.
It was not that cold, but it was windy. The same temperature as today. I looked it up, by the way. Exact same temperature, but it was windy yesterday.
But the wind creates a feels like temperature, which makes it feel cold. Even good weather places have a feels like temperature. They'll say it's 50 degrees, but it feels like 28. And it felt, 50 yesterday. It was cold out there. It was really cold. And I'm not the only one who thought that, so I know I'm not crazy. I heard lots of people today talking about, oh my God, it's so much warmer today. Yesterday was so cold. It was so cold. I was freezing. Why do you think everybody was standing in the sun? Because it was nice and cozy?
I wasn't saying it wasn't cold yesterday. I'm saying it wasn't fucking freezing.
Yes, it was freezing.
My God.
Freezing.
It was 65 degrees.
My hands were so cold.
You're such
it was
a Las
65
Vegas
degrees,
native.
and then the wind was swirly too, because where we sit is right behind home plate. And so we get the swirly wind as it comes in from out. Interestingly, one thing I hadn't thought of that does make the wind stronger there is how close you are to the canyons and the mountains.
Uh-huh.
So if you were, say, more towards the strip, probably wouldn't be as windy because you don't have the mountains whipping it up. That's a thought I had. But it was nice to be back at the ballpark. They've made a lot of changes to the food.
Yeah, they added lumpia. Okay. What a weird thing to eat at a ballpark, but they were delicious.
We had some of that today. Yes, that was my snack.
They have Philly cheesesteak, chicken steak, sandwiches, nachos, and hot dogs.
Yeah. They have a chicken cheesesteak and a beef cheesesteak, and they just put that on everything. Do they even have fries with that on there too?
No.
No fries. See, they're missing out. They should have the fries with that shit on
They're
there.
a fryer.
People would love that. Why don't they?
Because they're a kiosk.
So the burger place is a kiosk, and he fried my burger in front of my face.
Not in a deep fryer. A griddle.
You could put a deep fryer there if you wanted to. It runs on the same shit. They have propane-based ones. That's my point. It could be done if they wanted to do it. They just don't want to do it.
Nope.
But the changes are nice. I just thought some of the moves where they put things were weird. It was a little bizarre. But overall...
Speaking of the moves, though, I remember from last year, they put stuff in strange places for Big League Weekend.
And then they put it back.
Where it should be.
But yeah, and then there were things, if I remember correctly, because you were saying this too today.
Like the frozen banana stand.
Maybe they just didn't come for Big League Weekend, because who knows? Maybe the prices are really high.
I'm going to guess that frozen bananas won't be around until July anyway. So
yeah, not until it's hot.
July, yeah.
Not until it's hot. That makes sense. And you know what? I'm going to be willing to bet you that just season ticket holders can do like the quarter season, half season, full season. I guarantee you the concessionaires that have those booths get offered the same kind of thing. Quarter season, half season, full season.
I'm sure some of them do, yeah.
And then my guess would be that the ones that buy the most from them, end up getting discounts for Enchant, or maybe Enchant's just included in vendor membership.
Yep.
Interesting.
I always wonder, what do the people who work at the ballpark do? What do the 50-50 ticket people do in the off season?
They have another job.
And they always come back to the ballpark. It's super weird.
But their job is like a daytime job. And then they deal with the occasional conflict by taking the time off from their day job. And the rest of the time, this is their second job where they make extra money and they love baseball. So then they get to see, think about it, they get to see every Aviators home game. Do you really think those ushers have that much to do?
Nope.
He literally, when you watch him, and ours is a good one. He's a good one. He comes down, he looks around a little bit, he goes up. Then he stays up for a while, then he comes back down. And he's just giving people a chance to scream out, hey, over here. And then they can get some help from him. He's giving them that opportunity by exposing himself and being transparent. But that's all he does is go up and down. You can watch that game, man, and he gets to be there if he wants to. He could be there for every home game the entire season.
Yep.
Doesn't pay for it. And I guarantee he can get family members in at a discount.
I'm sure he can.
So I think they just use it as a part-time job. That's really what I think. And retired people, it's probably awesome for them. And think about it. Baseball runs from March until October. So then you have November, December.
It starts March 28th
January
this year.
instead of the year. It's like being a teacher.
It starts at the end of March this year. And the championship game is September 29th.
Leagues one, yeah. Major
Well, we're talking about a minor league ballpark, so
understand. Still, it's not that different than being a teacher. You only get paid for when school's in session.
Teachers in Canada get paid a monthly salary.
Out here.
Already.
They generally get 9 paychecks. And then they have 3 months where they don't. And then they're allowed to do some kind of a thing where they can divide their annual by 12, but they get charged like a deduction fee or something for having them have to do that. So you make less, but you can get paid every month. But it's a interesting thing. But it reminded me, when we have plans, they're usually pretty close to home. Like we'll go to Fremont Street. Once in a blue moon, we go to a sporting event. Had we not had baseball this weekend, we would have gone to the Golden Knights game tonight. And
Right.
So we would have traveled minimum 35 minutes that way and at least that coming back, right? And that's not bad. It's not terrible. It's what? Comes out to 15 miles. It's not bad at all. Like we're seriously. But we don't drive that much. Like we drive 1.2 miles to Dutch Bros and 1.2 miles back home. Like we don't go very far. So I don't experience the lunacy as often as I used to. But the lunacy here is just the people drive like, I don't even know what. The one time, the guy, like, went around me in the parking lot, tried to go around me, and then a car parked there, and they almost hit the car. And then that guy was yelling at him. And then I'm yelling at him with the window rolled down. What kind of idiot are you that you go flying around somebody? And he's yelling, you're going too slow. Like I'm in a parking lot where there's people all over the place, you lunatic. I'm not going to hit one of these people. I'm doing 10, 15 miles an hour. That's fast enough. Knock it off, bro.
For some context, the speed in our community is 17 miles
17
per hour.
in the entire community.
Probably, yeah.
Most of the time I do about 10 miles an hour. I creep. But that's for a lot of reasons. Cars backing out, people walking, they pop kids, run away from mom. I don't want to hurt a kid or kill one with a car. No, thank you.
Right.
I would never be able to sleep ever again after that. I'd just be a zombie. That's what I might become a believer in zombies if that were to happen, because that's what I would become. I wouldn't sleep and I'd just be awake all the time. Zombie. But
you're a lunatic.
Then, I'm seeing all this while I'm driving there and back and then there and then back. That's a lot of driving, because I'd say the ballpark, it's equivalent to about the furthest place we usually drive. Wouldn't you say?
Yep. Takes about a half hour to get there.
It's no closer or further away than T-Mobile Arena.
Further away than T-Mobile Arena for sure.
Miles wise is what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. I think it's pretty damn close. It might be technically, one might be 17 and one might be 18. But to my way of thinking, that's the same. Who cares? What's a mile? She's looking it up, folks. I know it's not a visual show, but I could describe it for you if you'd like. She's sitting in a chair.
What's the difference between 9 and 12?
So it's 33% further than going to T-Mobile?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. And that's mileage-wise?
Yes.
Then how come it takes, see, that kind of proves a point, though. Doesn't matter how many miles it is, how long it takes to get somewhere. And they both take about 30 minutes. You just said so yourself.
No, you said that it takes 30 minutes to get to T-Mobile. I think on a Sunday evening, it would take more like 20 minutes to get to T-Mobile. Yeah, I do.
Put it in map right now. Then we're going to a game. Let's go. I want to see it. I love it. Now she's typing on her phone. She's putting in maps. And she's putting in T-Mobile.
Stop telling everybody what exactly I'm
Well, to
doing.
describe it, it's not a visual show.
You could just talk about something else.
I'm waiting to find out.
21 minutes to T-Mobile Arena right now.
Wow, that's pretty good. That means it's like 15 to the ballpark.
It's probably more like 24, but
yeah, in reality. Does that mean that the thing is open there? Because that's what I wanted to talk about.
It doesn't. Tropicana doesn't close until 9 p.m.
That's not what I was saying, my love. I can understand why you thought that. I was saying that accident that happened that I want to talk about happened on that street, and it was closed. So I was wondering if the street was still closed, because if it's still closed, that time's longer.
No, because it's mapping from our freaking house. So even if it's still closed, it's probably routing a different way.
I wonder how they know that. That's interesting. Okay, anyway, tell them about what happened. So here I am. Here I'm having this experience this weekend, thinking how nuts the drivers are. And this is what she tells me as we're getting home.
And I'd say Cheyenne is probably open because that's the way it's taking us. 2 cars apparently hit each other on the off-ramp or on-ramp to the freeway.
Yeah, but that's not the crazy part. A person's dead as a result. Like died at the scene, not got injured and then didn't survive. And the second person's in critical condition. And when you look at the picture, like if you know the on-ramp, which we know the on-ramp, but is pretty much 90% of where we get on the highway is right there. And we get off the highway right there. Like always, it's our spot. And people go around there at 900 miles an hour. And that's what it looks like. It looks like the one lady was going too fast and the other lady tried to cut her off. And then they hit. The one lady missed the pole and the other lady hit the pole. That's what it looked like to me.
Pretty much.
And that would mean that the lady who hit the pole, who was in the right, she was in the correct lane. She's probably the dead one, which is sucky.
Yeah, I just looked it up in the emergency group on Facebook and said, we were entering the freeway right as it happened. It was so bad. There's a silver car wrapped around a pole. It happened so fast and suddenly we couldn't even tell where the cars came from.
See? Just from looking at the picture and knowing the area and how people act when they get on there, I knew that's what happened.
Yep.
But this is what happens, people. The people around here drive like entitled asshats.
And it cleared at 5:42 p.m.
Wow.
It happened at 12:30.
Wow. That's still pretty quick for them around here. But they drive like entitled asshats around here. They drive like you owe them something. Like I said, the guy, I'm in the parking lot. I'm waiting to go into an empty parking space. And there's lots of room. And all of a sudden, the guy jumps to my right, the direction I'm going to be turning. Pulls past me, and then all of a sudden this big, like huge Ford truck pulls in. Boom. And he like hits the brakes, and he missed him by an inch. Like he stopped so close. And the guy got out and he's calling him an effing a-hole. And why are you driving like an effing a-hole? This isn't a racetrack. The hell are you doing? And then this man right here is trying to pull in, and I've got my window rolled down and I'm yelling, you bleeping fool. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? That's the parking lot. Why are you racing through? And he says to me, you were going too slow. Now, okay. How many times have we been behind people who go too slow?
No, 5 or 6.
And do we roar around them at 900 miles an hour, or do we just piss and moan at each other about how, my God, could these people go faster?
You mean like that dude who was on his phone when we were headed to the ballpark earlier today?
Exactly like that dude. And all we say to each other is, my God, could they go any slower? These people are ridiculous. And then Torya will generally figure out why. Like today, she figured out that the guy had his phone on speakerphone, but he was holding it up to his ear.
No, he was holding it in front of his face.
Holding it in front of his face. Even worse. Blocking his vision and driving like a whack job.
Yeah.
But people do this. They act like they have the right to drive however they please. They don't pay for their registration. They drive around with just so they don't attract any attention at all. They just don't put a license plate on. And that's the crazy part. Try driving around with a license plate, but with an expired tag. They're going to pull you over. Have no license plate at all, though? Why bother?
I don't know. I saw somebody the other day with tags that were expired by multiple years. I just don't understand.
So some people get away with it. There's always going to be people that get away with it. It doesn't change the fact that it's more visible for them to get caught. And that's why they take the license plate off. And that's the part that's crazy. To my way of thinking, now you really make it obvious because you have no license plate. There can be no mistaking whether you're registered or not. We don't know who you are. So we've got to pull you over and identify who you are. Boy, is that going to be a fun time.
Right.
That's going to involve you getting out of the car. It's not going to be fun. Why do that? Because they want to save money on the car registration and they feel like they're sticking it to the man.
Joke's on them. There's a man in Northeast Las Vegas that is fighting against unregistered cars in his neighborhood.
Yeah, he reports them.
Yeah. And apparently they're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
But then the article I read said they aren't violating a state law by not having registration.
Yeah, how's that even possible?
Me? Are you sure?
Like, how is that even possible?
I'm pretty sure they're violating at least one state law by not having their car registered.
Yeah, it has to be. I would always thought that registration of a car was required.
By the state that you live in.
I mean, it's
not the county, state.
Exactly. Let's be real. We've talked about this before. Those are like controller laws. They're there to control people. Oh, I don't like that you did this thing, so I'm going to revoke that license from you. I'm just going to revoke it. Now you can't do that anymore. Oh, sorry, it killed your business. Oh, I didn't like what you did. And then they want you to grovel. That's literally what it comes down to. And it's just a control mechanism. You piss them off, they just go, oh, let me show you that I'm in charge.
Right.
And that to me is when you know things are psycho. That's all I can say about that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I try to avoid politics as much as possible anymore. So yeah, this is nuts. People die because entitled asshats are always doing that there. And I'm shocked, though.
That there aren't more accidents on that on-ramp?
That there aren't more accidents, but I'm shocked that any one of them would be fatal like that. Like, how fast must they have been going? Seriously.
That comment I read said the silver car hit the pole, and that's the person who they were doing CPR on at the scene. She wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
But how fast must they have been going to go so out of control that they hit a pole?
Freeway speed?
That's way too early for freeway speed. Come on, man. You're still coming off the main side street where it's 35.
50. Cheyenne is 50.
Oh, then that's too fast. They need to change that.
Yeah.
It's people. That's what killed them.
I'm not sure how you get up to 50 on that street, but...
Yeah. That's why all the asshats go down the left side because there's no cars there. And then at the last second, they sweep in front of you because they're entitled asshats. Just remember that phrase. I'm going to say that a lot now that we live in Las Vegas. Entitled asshats. And it's not the tourists.
On that note, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye, Yogi.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.